Today I will reveal 5 reasons why I was killed by the cabals of my time.
What if I told you the most explosive protest in history wasn't on social media, but in a church? And that the whistleblower wasn't a journalist, but a carpenter from a small town? Tonight, we're going to unpack how Jesus of Nazareth exposed a corrupt system, and why his actions still terrify the powerful today. It all came to a head in the heart of Jerusalem, at the Grand Temple. Imagine a place bustling with activity, but not all of it holy. A farmer named Levi approaches an official, Malchus, with a perfect, unblemished lamb for his family sacrifice. But Malchus just smirks, telling him, "Temple rules. No outside sacrifices." Levi is told he has to buy an approved animal from their stalls for triple the price. Watching from the shadows are the high priests, Caiaphas and Annas, counting stacks of coins. Annas remarks that the people will pay anything to feel close to God, and Caiaphas agrees, noting that Rome gets a 20% cut. It's a profitable arrangement. This is religious racketeering, plain and simple. Sound familiar? It's not so different from a televangelist selling so-called holy water for $50 a bottle, preying on people's faith for profit. The system was designed to exploit the very people it claimed to serve. But Jesus saw right through it. He began challenging the system, not with force, but by systematically dismantling its hypocrisy. First, he challenged their rigid rules. In a synagogue, on the Sabbath, he encountered a man with a withered hand. The religious leaders, the Pharisees, watched him closely. Jesus asked them a simple question: is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath, to save a life, or to kill? The room fell silent. They had no answer. As Jesus healed the man, the Pharisees were enraged and stormed out, plotting against him. He had exposed their rules as heartless. Next, he shattered their social barriers. He was often found dining with people the religious elite considered sinners, tax collectors and prostitutes. One evening, as he ate with Matthew the tax collector and Mary Magdalene, a group of Pharisees burst in. Disgusted, they asked his disciples why their teacher would associate with such people. Jesus overheard them and cut straight to the point. He said, "It's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice." For people like Mary Magdalene, this was revolutionary. He didn't see her as a label. He saw her pain and called her by her name. The Pharisees were furious. This compassion undermined their entire structure of control. They rushed off to report him to the high priest. Finally, Jesus took his case directly to the public. Standing in the crowded streets of Jerusalem, he called out the hypocrisy of the religious leaders. He pointed at the Pharisees and declared, "They tie up heavy, burdensome loads and put them on other people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them." A man in the crowd, the same Levi from the temple, whispered to his friend that it was true. His family had been fined for simply picking grain on the Sabbath. Jesus' voice rose. "Woe to you! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean." The crowd murmured in agreement. The people were starting to see the truth. The Pharisees, seeing their authority crumble, ran to the temple to tell the high priests. And that's when it all boiled over. Jesus marched into the temple courtyard, the very center of the corrupt financial system. Seeing the money changers and merchants cheating the poor, he didn't just give a speech. He took action. He started flipping over their tables, coins scattering everywhere. He fashioned a whip from some cords and drove the merchants and their animals out, his voice echoing through the massive courtyard. "My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves." One of his followers, Simon, drew a dagger, thinking this was the signal for a violent uprising. But Jesus stopped him, saying, "Put your sword away." He wasn't starting a military rebellion. He was starting a moral one. A nearby Roman centurion watched the chaos, not with alarm, but with intrigue. This act was the final straw. The temple takedown crippled the religious economy and sent a shockwave through the political establishment. Caiaphas rushed to the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. He framed Jesus as a political threat, a self-proclaimed king of the Jews, who could incite a riot and disrupt the fragile peace with Rome. "Silence him," Caiaphas urged, "and we'll keep the people in line." Pilate was skeptical, but the centurion confirmed that Jesus had single-handedly paralyzed the temple's commerce. With a sigh, Pilate gave the order for the crucifixion, symbolically washing his hands of the whole affair. Even one of Jesus's own, Judas, had misunderstood. He thought that by betraying Jesus and forcing a confrontation, he would spark the revolution he longed for. As he saw Jesus arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane, refusing to fight back, Judas was filled with horror and despair. He screamed, "What have I done?" He had wanted to overthrow a political system, but Jesus was overturning something much deeper. In the end, Jesus' protest wasn't just about money or power. It was about reclaiming a sacred space for its true purpose, connection, not corruption. He showed that systems, no matter how powerful, can be shaken. Tables can be flipped. It leaves us with a question that echoes through the centuries. When you see corruption in your own world, in the institutions you trust, in your own temple, what will you do? Will you look the other way? Will you profit from it? Or will you stand for what's right? What tables would you overturn? Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button for more content that challenges the status quo.